Welcome back to my movie review series. On today's episode, I will be reviewing the 2022 Warner Bros. And DC animated movie, and that is DC League of Super Pets. No wonder ever since the merger between Discovery and WarnerMedia into one company, Warner Bros. Discovery, and beginning of the chaos around the company, Warner Bros. Discovery let that movie pass. The movie premiered on July 29, 2022. Superman grows up with a Kryptonian Labrador retriever named Krypto, who goes by the name Clark Kent in everyday life. Krypto feels jealous when Superman starts dating Lois Lane, so Superman goes to an animal shelter to find Krypto a friend. A boxer named Ace tries to escape the shelter, but Krypto stops him. Later, Superman and Krypto spot their archenemy, LexCorp CEO Lex Luthor, reeling in a meteor strapped with orange kryptonite with a tractor beam, intending to gain superpowers. He is easily defeated as the two are aided by the Justice League, formed by Superman himself, Batman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Green Lantern, and Aquaman. Meanwhile, Lulu, a guinea pig test subject from LexCorp sent to the shelter, reels in a piece of orange kryptonite with her own tractor beam, which gives her flight and telekinesis. Unbeknownst to her, everyone else in the shelter also gains superpowers. Ace is now super strong and indestructible. PB, a pot-bellied pig, can change size. Merton, a nearsighted turtle, becomes super fast, and Chip, a paranoid squirrel, gains electrokinesis. While at home, Superman and Krypto have an argument when the former plans to propose marriage to Lois. However, Clark is captured by Lulu. Krypto tries to save him, but loses his powers after eating some green kryptonite hidden inside a piece of Jarlsberg cheese. Later, Krypto comes across the shelter pets, who agree to help him. Meanwhile, Lulu recruits a group of guinea pigs, captures the Justice League, and heads to Stryker's Island to free Luthor. The shelter pets try to stop her, but fail miserably. They regroup in the Hall of Justice, where Ace tells a distraught Krypto he used to be the puppy of a family with a toddler. One day, the toddler nearly fell down the stairs when Ace bit her arm and pulled her to safety. Upon seeing the bite marks, the parents assumed Ace attacked her and sent him to the shelter. However, Ace stands by his actions and ideals. Encouraged, Krypto leads the pets to LexCorp in order to rescue the Justice League and stop Lulu's plans. The story is decently written, as even though it does suffer from being easily predictable and formulaic, the first third being pretty slow, and having some weak comedy. The story itself is somewhat interesting with the concept and ideas that are decently well executed. There is some pretty solid action as well as a few decent jokes. The light-hearted tone is very well handled, has some solid morals about the importance of friendship and learning to let your loved ones go, and there is some genuine heart to it. The action scenes are pretty solid, as they can be a lot of fun as well as decently intense, such as the Justice League taking on Luthor at LexCorp, Ace, PB, Chip, and Merton escaping from the burning shelter, Lulu and her guinea pigs capturing the League, which leads to their first battle with Krypto and the pets. The pets fight against Whiskers, and the final battle between the Super Pets and Lulu. The comedy is possibly the weakest aspect of the movie, as while there are some decently funny jokes like some of the banter between the pets, a few of the gags, and some of the dark humor, but most of the humor doesn't land, like the toilet humor, bits that go on too long, bits that try to be hip and cool for the kids, and the unnecessary bleeped swears from Merton. The movie does have some genuine heart to it, and this does lead to some pretty heartfelt and heart-wrenching moments, like Krypto's growing friendship with the other pets, and Ace's backstory. The animation is pretty well crafted and does have a nice look to it. The characters all have pretty decent designs and pretty fluid movements. The backdrops and settings are very well crafted and do have some nice detail, and there are some pretty solid effects, like all the various powers that are used. The characters are a mixed bag, as while there are some likable ones that do have some solid chemistry and growth, others are pretty weak and or forgettable. Krypto is a decently likable protagonist, as even though he does have his unlikable moments with his initial jealousy towards Lois, as the movie progresses, he does start to become more likable as he learns about the value of friendship. and does start to accept his companions as friends, and he does have a couple of decently funny moments. The supporting characters are a bit of a mixed bag, as while there are some that are likable and do act as solid support such as Ace, PB, Merton, and Chip, the rest are pretty weak, one note, or not that interesting, such as the Justice League and Lex. Lulu is honestly a pretty weak villain, as her motivations are pretty weak, and even though she does have some funny moments, she just boils down to the vengeful bad guy who wants to kill the heroes. The voice acting is very well done and does result in the actors delivering some solid performances, like Dwayne Johnson as Crypto, Kevin Hart as Ace, Vanessa Bayer as PB, Natasha Lyonne as Merton, Diego Luna as Chip, Kate McKinnon as Lulu, John Krasinski as Superman, Keanu Reeves as Batman, Mark Maron as Lex, and more. The music by Steve Yablonsky is pretty well composed and does capture the movie's light-hearted, comedic, and action-packed tone. Verdict: 9 out of 10. While this is a mostly enjoyable and decently crafted movie, it's not one of the best animated movies from 2022, and also not one of the best movies in DC animated universe, despite its catastrophic chaos going around Warner Bros. Discovery.